This week, I'll lead you through a slow and gentle practice for lazy mornings. This is for those mornings when you feel like you don't really want to get out of bed, but at the same time, you know that moving your body, doing a few stretches will help you to get on with your day. So let's get started. The only prop we'll need for this practice is a bolster or some kind of a big cushion or pillow, or you might roll a blanket to be in the shape of a bolster, just something you can lean onto in a few poses. And then we're going to start in a seated pose, and this can be any easy seat. And you might sit on a bolster, on a cushion, wherever you feel that you could bring yourself into an upright pose without needing to work too hard yet. So take a moment to find that easy pose. Well done getting out of bed, bringing yourself into an upright seat. You might even lean onto a wall or lean onto the side of your bed if that makes this first pose just a bit easier. And once you have found that pose, if you want, you might close your eyes. If you feel that you're going to fall back asleep, then keep your eyes gently open. Just turn your gaze down towards the floor, towards the ground. And take a moment to notice your breath. You might give yourself a few slightly bigger, deeper breaths. Allow yourself to feel the movements of your in breaths and out breaths. You might play with sending your breaths to different parts of your body. Can you feel your breaths up in your chest? Around the chest bone, around the collarbones. Can you feel your breath on the backs of your ribs, at the back of the spine? Can you feel your breaths on the sides of your ribs? Maybe you exaggerate that movement a couple of times. And then if you want, you might keep your eyes closed. You might also open your eyes a bit more. And with your next in-breath, let your arms float up overhead. And we'll keep them there for a little while. Start to gently reach your arms up one at a time. A bit like picking up apples from an apple tree. So you're reaching one arm up, reaching the other arm up. Like you're really trying to reach for something. Kind of lengthening one side, not going into a side bend, but just lengthening one side up. Then lengthening the other side up. Maybe looking up if that feels good. And let's do each side one more time. Just trying to make yourself a little bit taller. And then reach both arms up at the same time. You might bring hands together if that helps you to soften the tops of the shoulders. And with an exhalation, release the arms back down. Roll the shoulders. And then we're going to turn onto all fours. And if you want, you could do this on hands and knees. Or if your wrists feel a bit sore or just kind of fragile in the morning, tender, you could bring a bolster under your elbows so that you can lean elbows, forearms onto the bolster, and then we'll start to circle the weight from Knees to arms, arms to knees. You can invite movement to your spine. Explore some side bending. I quite like to tuck my toes under, helps me get in touch with the feet as well. So you might try that if that feels okay. You might do some cat-cow movements around and arching the spine. Just a gentle movement. Now let's change the direction of those circles. Allowing shoulders, hips to move. Keeping the neck soft and keep breathing together with the movement. Just gentle, easy breaths in and out. And then we'll let that movement slowly calm down and we'll lean the pelvis back into child's pose. And if you have a bolster there, you could leave the bolster under your elbows or under your hands and wrists. That might give a nice opening in the shoulders, but that's very optional. You can also just move the bolster aside, lean your arms, your head onto the mat. Or if you have your hands on the bolster, maybe head is leaning down onto the mat between the arms. If it feels okay in the shoulders, you can keep hands on the bolster throughout this child's pose. And send a few breaths towards the back. If your hips feel a bit sticky this morning, you could rock the pelvis from side to side, invite some movement into that child's pose as well. Let's take one more breath in and out. Let out a sigh. And then slowly bring yourself back up onto all fours. And then bring yourself sitting on the right hip. We'll bring legs into the deer pose. So right leg in front of you, left leg kind of next to you, behind you, and then lean onto your right hand. We'll do a few lifts up into the flying deer. So from here, as you inhale, lift your pelvis up, circle your left arm around, opening the chest, and exhale, lower the pelvis down, left arm comes down. Same again. Inhale, circle the left arm up, open the chest, lifting the pelvis off the mat. Exhale, lower down. 2 more rounds. With your own in breath, lifting up, opening through the front of the left leg and hip. Exhaling down. 1 more round with your in breath, lifting up. And exhale, lower down. Now that was quite a lot of movement and effort. Let's relax for a moment. Bring your bolster next to your right hip and then lean over the bolster into a side bending deer. You can lean head down on the mat, or you can bring your right hand under the head. Left arm can stay lower down, or you could lengthen that left arm overhead if that feels okay in the shoulder. And then give yourself a few breaths here. You might add some rotation to your side bend, either opening your chest up to the ceiling or closing your chest down towards the mat. For a moment, notice where you can soften, where you don't need to hold, where you could just release, let the body be heavy.
Take another breath in and out. And then if you have your left arm overhead, just slowly bring that left hand in front of you. So you can press down onto the left hand. And with a slightly bigger breath in and out, lift yourself up into a seat. Extend your left leg out to the left side, keeping the right knee bent. And then just a little lean over the left leg, the counter side bend. Breathe in and out. And then lift yourself back up to center. And bend both legs. We'll do same to the other side. So we'll need to move our bolster to the other side. Make sure you have some space and then come sitting on the left hip. So first, a bit of movement, nothing too much. We know that we have that reward, that relaxed side bend coming up. So now, leaning on the left hip, lean onto your left hand, and then as you inhale, lift the pelvis up. Right arm circles up. You can open the chest. And exhale, lower the pelvis down. The right arm circles down. Same again. Inhale, lifting up. Circling the right arm up, opening the chest. Exhaling down. 2 more rounds. Pressing down through the left arm, through the left shoulder. Exhalation brings us down. 1 more round with the in-breath, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. And then it's already time to lean over the bolster again. So bring the bolster close to the left hip. And then as you exhale, lean over the bolster onto your left side. And if you want, you might bring right arm overhead. The left hand could be under the head if that helps. And this side could be quite different, so let yourself find a shape that helps you to release through the spine, through the hips, through the shoulders. And it might mean that we need to keep the right arm lower down as well. It could even be behind the back if that feels better. And notice if you can feel your breaths along the right side body. Could we breathe down towards the right hip? Soften with the exhalations. And it's okay if we don't feel the breath. We might just visualize the breath as well. You might visualize your in-breath sliding towards the right hip. The out-breath sliding towards the right shoulder. Take another breath in and out. And slowly slide that right hand in front of you. And then in your own time, bring yourself up into a seat. Extend the right leg out to your right side and inhale, exhale, lean into a gentle side bend over that right leg. And just a counter pose. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly bring yourself back up. We're going to move the bolster aside, and then for a moment, we'll come lie down on the belly. So lean onto your belly, extending the legs. You could rock the pelvis from side to side. We're going to do a few lifts into a cobra. You could have hands close to the shoulders if that feels quite easy for you or natural. Or you might bring hands further out to the sides and either have the whole palm on the mat or just fingertips on the mat. Elbows can turn up towards the ceiling. We'll keep the legs down, and then as you inhale, peel your chest off the mat. You can help with the arms, and exhale, release back down. You might adjust your hands, your arms if needed. Same again. With the in-breath, opening the chest off the mat. Small back bend. Exhale, releasing back down. It's just a suggestion of a back bend, not a full back bend yet. Again, inhale, lifting gently off the mat. Could be a very small lift. Saying hello to the back side of the spine. Exhaling down. Just engaging a bit through the muscles along the back side. Then with an in-breath, inhaling, lifting off the mat. And we'll do one more. This time, if you feel like lifting all the way up, feel free to extend the arms more. Inhale into one more cobra. And then exhale, lower down. Just rest a few breaths down on the belly. You bring hands under head. You rock the pelvis from side to side. And then we are going to lift up onto all fours again. So bring hands under shoulders. Lift yourself onto hands and knees. And we're going to go and visit a little baby dragon or lizard, whichever animal you feel like being this morning. And you don't need to use any props for this, but I'll show you how you could use a bolster. So we're going to extend the right leg behind us and then step the left foot close to the hands. And now you could bring a bolster under the right knee and thigh. So the bolster could be kind of lengthwise under that right leg. And I'm suggesting we'll bring hands into fists and then bring those two fists on the inside of that left foot, left leg. So we're really going to stay quite low down. And just breathing here. Gently opening through the front of that right thigh, right hip. Not going into a full-on back bend. Just breathing here. Having your hands in fists is only a suggestion. The reason I'm doing it because my wrists start to feel a bit tender if I'm leaning on to the hands and wrists here. So keeping hands as fists allows me to keep the wrists in a straight line. And we're just breathing. We'll take another few breaths here. Just opening through that front side of the hip, thigh. Keeping neck free. And then we are going to press down through the arms and just bring that left knee back onto the mat. And we're going to change to the other side. So let yourself move the props out of the way. And then we're going to extend the left leg behind us and step the right foot forward. Then I'll slide the bolster under the left knee, left thigh. I'll bring my both hands in fists on the inside of that right leg. And the reason I'm bringing my arms and hands on the inside of that right leg is that it gives me a bit more space to open that right hip. Now you might not want to do that, and that's very fine. You could keep hands on each side of the foot as well.
again, just focus on breathing. Could be a big stretch. Could be a big opening at the front of that left leg. Maybe you feel it on the inside of the right thigh, the back of the right thigh. Just breathe to those places where you feel the pose. This is a bit more active pose. Next pose is going to be more relaxed. So give yourself a few more breaths here. Keeping neck free, tops of the shoulders free. And then slowly lift the pelvis a bit higher up, just so that you can bring both knees on the mat again. And then we're going to go into one more child's pose. And this time I'm suggesting to use the bolster under the belly, the chest, the head. So leaning pelvis in towards the feet. And now you could lean your upper body onto that bolster. If you want, you can bring arms down next to your legs. Maybe turn head to one side. And then just breathe here. Now let the front of the hips, thighs soften. Just melt into the pose. If you want, you can turn head to the other side for a few breaths. Take one more breath in and out. And then slowly bring your hands back on the mat. Bring yourself onto all fours. Move the bolster so that you could then sit at one end of the bolster and turn your back onto the bolster. We're going to go into our final pose, which is a reclining, supported back bend. So we'll use a bolster under the back. It can be lengthwise or it could be sideways if that feels better for you. You might have your knees bent. You might extend your legs. Or if you like, you might bring legs into a butterfly shape as well. Find a gentle pose for your hips, for your legs. Hands and arms in a place that allows your shoulders to relax. But if you want, you might bring arms higher up or out to the sides. It might give a nice opening across the chest. Notice where you feel your breaths in this supported back bend. Could we breathe into that space between the shoulder blades and the upper back? Can you breathe into your armpits? What about breathing towards the chest bone, the front of the ribs? Or what about breathing all the way down to the belly?
notice the space that you have available for your breaths. Give yourself a few more breaths in and out here. And then if you have your arms overhead, you could just slowly slide your arms lower down. Either start to slowly lean onto one side to bring yourself up into a seat, or with your knees bent, bring chin towards the chest, reach hands for your knees and slowly roll yourself up into a seat. And then find an easy seat, an easy seated pose. Maybe it's the same pose you had in the beginning of the practice, or maybe you now find a different seat. Can we leave that softness in the hips? Can we find softness along the spine? Can we leave softness around the shoulders? Can we leave softness in our breath? If you want, you can bring one hand onto your chest, one hand to your belly, and give yourself a few more breaths here. Slowly, breath by breath, closing the practice. And if it's a part of your practice, you can bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, most importantly, at the end of the practice, thank yourself for taking this moment in the morning to move, to breathe, to listen to yourself. It's just slowly getting ready for the day ahead. And I thank all of you for joining in, for sharing the time and sharing your morning. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Namaste. Thank you.